welcome to Movie Review Mom. Today I have a very special guest whose name is Tana Lovett. Woo! Welcome, Tana.
Thank you, Trina. It's so exciting to be invited to be on today. So I'm
of course. So Tana and I are actually members of the same writing group, and I love the title of her very first novel. Tell everybody what it is.
It's called As Long as There's Chocolate. It's small town contemporary women's fiction, romantic comedy with a few friendly ghosts. So it's it's very much a first novel because I definitely was not writing to one particular market. So.
Well, I love the title. And when I had sent you a list of all the upcoming movies, you said that you were interested in this particular movie. So today, the movie that we're reviewing together is The Upside. It is rated PG-13. It's 2 hours and 5 minutes. And on the count of three, let's both say what score we gave it. You know, A, B, C, D. You can do pluses and minuses. Okay.
Right.
So I'm always curious because she and I haven't talked about this. So I don't know what score she's going to give it. So ready?
Yes.
1, 2, 3.
A
minus. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I was going to give it an A, but there were just a couple of little things that kind of maybe drop it down a fraction. But I really enjoyed it too.
Yeah.
So tell me, what were all of the things you loved about it? And then when you look at a movie, especially being a fiction author, what is it you're looking for to gauge whether it's truly A-worthy?
Well, you know, and I may have gone with an A- as well, but I think it's just the chemistry between the two main characters and the actors, Kevin Hart and
Bryan Cranston.
Bryan Cranston, thank you, was just amazing. I mean, I tried to think of some really clever dialogue, and there was some, but it was mostly just what was on the screen that, you know, that made me crack up, you know, because you knew that they were, you know, you'd see Bryan Cranston, for instance, when they're doing they're giving, in case you don't know anything about the storyline, he's quadriplegic, and Kevin Hart comes from a different part of town and is hired to be his caregiver. And they're showing him giving him his first shower and practically drowning the poor guy. And you could just see that Bryan Cranston was just like, you know, trying to hold
himself.
Cracking up, but staying in character at the same time. But you can, you know, picture the character going, oh my gosh, you know.
Yeah, and in fact, he says, "You're waterboarding me."
Yes. That was great.
That was funny.
And the cast, you know, there was Nicole Kidman. There was Juliana Margulies, just a really great cast. And so I think this could have turned into something a lot different with a different, and I have never seen a Kevin Hart movie before because his usual genre is kind of just really not my thing. And I expected it to be a little bit more over the top, and I feel like he reined it in.
I agree, and yeah, and I've seen a lot of Kevin Hart movies, and over the top is a really good way to describe. It's always the same character, and he's always over the top and screaming. And I thought, oh no, the trailers made it look like he was going to be under control, and he was. He played a much more dramatic role. Of course, he was the comic relief, but he did rein it in, and I was so impressed. Very. Yeah, I loved it.
And I think I just have very homogeneous sort of taste anyway, because my husband and I went and saw it together, and we kind of turned to each other and we said a lot of the same things that the other one was thinking. And I kind of formed my thoughts about it. I thought, well, I'm going to check out some of the critical reviews. And I couldn't have disagreed more with some of the things that were said, because one of the thoughts that I had was that, yes, it's once again, we're showing a guy who's been in prison, and he's from the projects and that kind of thing. And so that could be thought of as being very cliche, stereotypical. But I think that is a harsh reality. That is about a person. It's not about a political statement that's being made. and yet he played it with such heart and in not a stereotypical way. And I think that it was just, I thought it was handled in a dignified way.
I agree. And, I came out of that theater feeling good. I wanted to serve somebody or do something special for somebody. I mean, I felt really good. And I was so excited to read what all of the other reviews were. And I was shocked. And part of the thing is that this is an American remake of a French movie called The Untouchables. And I have not seen it. But apparently it's fantastic. And I plan on seeing it, but I haven't yet. And so people were posting negative reviews almost 2 years before this movie came out, which is completely unfair. And so I would like to really talk to somebody who's seen both to compare. Mm-hmm. What's interesting about what you just said is in the French original, the caregiver is also Black. I was going to say African American, but he's not American, he's French. Mm-hmm. And in fact, that actor, his name was Omar Sy, he won not an Oscar, but it's like the French equivalent of an Academy Award for his role in that movie. And I don't know, in France, they didn't seem to get so uptight about the race. Here in America, I think everybody is so on edge right now and so easily offended. And in fact, apparently there's the LGBTQ community that is all up in arms and offended because of some tweets that Kevin Hart made about whatever that are related to some of the awkward moments when he's changing the man's catheter. And I don't pay attention to Kevin Hart's tweets, but I just kind of felt like people just calm down. Just don't be so easily offended, for crying out loud.
To take it even one step further, I got on one of my Facebook groups that say, okay, so what's a good, I wanted to say something clever like this is Me Before You meets Lethal Weapon or something. I was trying to think of a big buddy movie that had an African American and a white man sort of thing, a bromance, Me Before You, without the devastating ending. And so I got into a discussion with somebody who said, oh, well, the disabled community is so, is so up in arms about Me Before You. And I thought, people, as a writer, you write about people that make decisions, make choices, have hardships in their lives, live a certain way, but that doesn't mean you are you have an agenda about those ways of life. I don't think Jojo Moyes even was thinking, this is pro-assisted suicide for that other movie. So anyway, it's just like our culture right now is so, let's be offended. And I just felt like this movie didn't have anything to be offended about, so.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, there's more of a statement on the economic disparity between the wealthy man and the one who was struggling, right?
Yes, yes.
Which is another very interesting element of the movie, I thought.
Right. Well, the irony of the quadriplegic man who had like 6 sports cars lined up in the garage, and
he can't drive any of them.
Couldn't drive any of them, and here was the Kevin Hart character, he's like in nirvana being in this apartment and it's a live-in situation and he's homeless at the moment because he's just been released from prison, and just the wide gap between their two ways of life,
So what would you say would be the redeeming themes of the movie, or really just the themes that offered lessons that we could learn from this movie?
Well, I think when you go back to the French version and the title, The Untouchables, I mean, you can see, because they both are in a position in their lives where they may feel that they are the pariahs, of society. He can't get a job because of his record, and then the rich man. People, it's like they talk around him. They'll talk to whoever's standing with them instead of to him. And even though he has all of these wonderful advantages, this one accident has changed his life to the point that he feels like an untouchable himself. And so together they were better than they were apart, you know, because the rich man, the client, was trying to help the poor man to better himself and figure out what he wanted to do with his life. And he was more than willing to help him, support him in doing that, but he just wanted him to have a good handle on what it was that he wanted to do. And so they both benefited from this relationship.
Absolutely. I think another powerful theme is second chances. And it's not second chances for just the one, but as you mentioned, for both of them. They were both struggling with various things, and they both showed growth. And I always love a movie that has good character arc. Certainly a fiction novel, too, has to have that. And
Yeah.
I write all nonfiction, so I don't know about character growth in my novels, other than I hope people, or my books, other than I hope people learn and grow. But when you were trying to create character arc, did you look for one moment where, you know, you're building up, you're introducing the characters, such as in this movie, and then there's one pivotal moment where it all comes crashing down, and that's where the growth occurs, is as they try to build back together?
Right. Well, you know, I am one of those who just kind of, I write organically, and eventually get there to where it's like, oh, okay, well, this is that point of no return, or this is that, what is it called? Man in the mirror moment, where you finally realize this is who I am, this is not where I want to be, and this is where I'm going from here. And so that, but yeah, they have that, and it's like they have kind of a breakup, so to speak, and they realize that they're actually a good team, you know. And I wish I could remember the character's name, but he goes on to start a business that is related to helping the disabled.
Yeah, I loved that.
Yeah, but he didn't break off his relationship with his boss. They went and did fun things together after that. So
yeah.
So I think that anyway, but yeah, they did have that sort of that all is lost moment where, you know, you don't see it turning out well for the Bryan Cranston character, because he ends up pushing everyone away, and you just assume that that's going to be the end of his life, that he's just going to be miserable till he dies, you know, sort of thing. And that's not the way it turned out. So
no spoiler alerts, but
yeah,
I love movies and books that really speak to my soul are ones that have a theme of hope. And it's that devastating moment, you know, that pinnacle of total destruction of relationship and the loss of hope, you know, that triggers the growth, which I just find to be so fascinating. And I love that at the very end, well, again, I shouldn't say any spoilers, but they're able to work through some of their differences. And I love the strength of Dell, who is Kevin Hart's character. He could have easily gone off and been bitter, but he returns with, I'm giving you the spoiler, to show great hope. Anyway, I should stop talking about it.
I know. Let's just say this: it has an uplifting ending. We can say that, I think.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily that Phil, who's got the disability or who's a quadriplegic, it's not that he gets cured necessarily. I mean, it's not all wrapped up in a pretty little bow where all the problems are solved. And I love that too, because it seemed realistic. You know, that there's still problems, but that they were going to work through it. Anyway, so because this is Movie Review Mom, how would you rate this for family friendly?
I would personally, as a mom, I would probably an older teen, just because I would, say it would be okay for an older teen. There wasn't a ton of bad language in it, but there were some adult themes and a kind of a deep, dark theme to it. I would feel more comfortable with somebody, say, 15 and older.
Yeah, it is PG-13, but there are some inappropriate moments. For example, there are two men who enjoy the company of prostitutes. There are two men who get high on marijuana.
Yeah.
There is talk of pornography, and also most of it is sex related because it has to do with these awkward, laughable scenes where Dell is changing his catheter, and then there's a talk of a blue pill and some things that happen because of that, and so that kind of thing. You do also get to see a topless, I shouldn't say you get to see, you see Kevin Hart in a, shirtless, and he's all tatted up. And I don't know if he is tatted up in real life or if they just did that to make his character seem, more like he came from a rough background. Not that you have to have a rough background to have tattoos, but just to kind of add to his character. I don't know. As opposed to Dwayne Johnson, who really does have the Polynesian tattoos, and sometimes they take it out of movies depending, but it seems like in recent years they've kept all of his original tats, so you can kind of see him peeking out of shirts and stuff in the scenes depending on whatever the movie is. Anyway, all right, so we both would highly recommend The Upside, and if you're able to, go catch that French movie as well. In the meanwhile, Tana, do you have anything you want to share?
I do. You can, my website is tanalovett.com, and I also am on Facebook as Tana Lovett. And the book is called As Long as There's Chocolate, which is available on Amazon.
Awesome. Will there be a sequel, or what projects are you working on now?
I am working on a sequel. I had hoped to write like different characters, but I decided, no, people really love these two characters, so we're going on with them. I also have had this project on the back burner. It's a screenplay that I have kind of put on the back burner, and I just feel like it's time to drag that out. So that may be something that happens this year. So
is there going to be a character that I can play in the movie?
Probably not. No, I have come from a very kind of crazy background, my childhood, my parents and parentage, and some of the choices that people in my family have made, and yet they were very lovable characters who made some pretty despicable decisions, and it's just time to tell that story, I think.
Oh, sounds intriguing. Well, good luck with that. And in the meanwhile, be sure and subscribe to Movie Review Mom here on YouTube, but also you can check out moviereviewmom.com to read my full reviews and enter contests, and also subscribe to my newsletter where you can get a free report on how to watch movies for free. So in the meanwhile, I keep saying that, go have fun at the movies. Bye for now.
Bye. Thank you.